mapper mechanism in MyBatis. Here you can see a mapper mechanism. When using a mapper interface, the developer can execute SQL only by creating a mapper interface and mapping file. When executing an application, implementation class of mapper interface is generated by MyBatis 3 using the proxy function of JDK. Hence, the developer need not create the implementation class of mapper interface. It is not necessarily to define inheritance and annotation of interface provided by MyBatis for mapper interface, and it can be simply created as Java interface. Example of Java interface. As an the process flow up to SQL execution when mapper interface method is called is shown below here. The mapper mechanism is shown here. One application calls the method defined in mapper interface. The implementation class of mapper interface proxy object of mapper interface is generated by MyBatis 3 component at the application startup time. 2. The proxy object of mapper interface calls invoke method of mapper proxy. Role of mapper proxy is to handle the method calling of mapper interface. 3. Mapper proxy generates a mapper method corresponding to the called mapper interface method and calls execute method. The mapper method plays a role of calling SQL session method corresponding to the called mapper interface method. 4. Mapper method calls SQL session methods. When SQL session method is called, a key hereafter referred as statement ID is passed in order to specify SQL statement to be executed. 5. SQL session fetches SQL statement from mapping file using the specified statement ID as key. 6. Session sets the value of the bind variable specified in the SQL statement fetched by mapping file and execute SQL. 7. Mapper interface SQL session converts SQL execution results to Java bean, etc., and returns to the application. When number of records or number of updated records are to be fetched, primitive type or primitive wrapper type, etc., form the return values. Statement ID is the key to specify the SQL statement to be executed. It is generated accordance with the rule FQCN of mapper interface plus dot plus name of the called mapper interface method. When SQL statement corresponding to the statement ID generated by mapper method is to be defined in the mapper file, it is necessary to specify FQCN of mapper interface in the namespace of mapping file. and method name of mapper interface in ID attribute of various statement tags. Here you can see application service, mapper interface and mapper proxy are inside JDK proxy. Here mapper method, SQL session, mapping file and database. Here one application service is mapper application service is connected to mapper interface via call method, and mapper interface is connected to mapper proxy via invoke 2, and 3 mapper proxy is connected to mapper method via execute. Then mapper method is connected to SQL session via insert, update, delete, select, xxx, and SQL session is connected to mapper file via find SQL statement. Mapper file is connected to SQL session via SQL statement, and then SQL session is connected to database via execute SQL statement, and SQL session is connected to application service via type safe object. Here the mapper proxy, mapper method and SQL session are provided by MyBatis 3. Mapper interface and mapping file is mapping file implements by developer. Now this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for watching it.